Well, tonight is the end of a years long journey for those of us who are fans of The Boys. Right from episode 1 of The Boys, when A Train inadvertently runs right through Huey's girlfriend and makes her explode, immediately telling the audience, this is a different kind of show. We've been on this incredible journey of a show that I think is, by a good margin, the best superhero show ever been on television. And this final season has been no different. It's been absolutely jaw-dropping and poignant and making great commentary and observations. And it's just been a fabulous, fabulous run. And tonight, it all comes to an end, at least for the core IP, The Boys. We're going to get more spinoffs for sure. But tonight, I'm going to go to a theater tonight and watch the finale.
Oh, that's right.
And then it comes out on Amazon after that. And, you know, I had a few people writing into me today saying they'd like to hear my final predictions. Here we are now, just about 9 hours away from the finale. So I've got some predictions that I'd like to give. I'll start with some of the bigger characters, work our way down through the smaller characters, and then I'll look over to you guys in the live chat to see if there's any characters I've missed out on and give my predictions on those. And Rob, after I give mine, I'd like to hear your response. All right. The big picture for my prediction for tonight. I believe Butcher dies killing Homelander. I believe both of them are gone. I think this has been his journey. I mean, really, the Boys from the beginning, other than, you know, A-Train running through Huey's girlfriend, it has been about Butcher wanting to take down Homelander. And I think we're going to get that. I think Kimiko is going to use her version of Soldier Boy's power. She's going to burn the V1 out of Homelander, and then Butcher will die taking him down. And, you know, they've done a thing with the show lately that they've really set it up that Butcher doesn't even want to live anymore. He really doesn't. Like, everything he's loved is gone. The one little thing he had hope for, which is to have like a real relationship with Ryan, he knows he's burned that too. He's got nothing left. All there is left is to take down Homelander. And I think the big picture is this show ends with Butcher dying, killing Homelander. So that's where I think it's going to happen there. Huey and Starlight. I believe they survive. I think that's one thing, especially with Huey, because in the comics, I mean, the show has been done very, very different from the comics. Like, it's extreme, wildly different. But Huey survives the main events of The Boys. And I think that's going to be carried on here. And while I don't know for sure, my guess would be that he and Starlight both survive and move on. And Starlight kind of becomes maybe the new standard bearer for what Soups can be and maybe should be. So my prediction for Huey and Starlight are they both survive. Let's move on to Kimiko. She dies. I think Kimiko dies. I think after losing Frenchie, I think she loses her purpose. And I think now the last thing, she's kind of going to be like Butcher, I think, in this final episode. All she wants to do now is take down Homelander. And I think once she does, I think the process of doing it is probably going to take the last bit out of her from all the radiation hits that she's taken. And my guess is that much like we lost Frenchie and much like we're going to lose Butcher, I think we lose Kimiko tonight, which sucks. She's been one of my favorite characters in the show. I've loved her from the very first scenes that they've had with her, and that's going to be sad. So that brings us to Mother's Milk. MM. And you know, even just a day ago, I think I would have predicted that MM dies too. Because they've kind of been setting it up. But I think he gets a happy ending. I think he reunites with his family. I think he gets to see his kid again. I think that's all this stuff is going to bring him right back to it. And I also think, in as much as him and Billy Butcher have butted heads along the way, I think his happy ending is also going to be made possible by something Butcher does. I think it's going to be the last thing Butcher gives back to MM because, let's face it, Butcher owes him. And I think, so my guess is him and Huey are going to be the only surviving members of The Boys. And I think he gets his happy ending. And I think it's going to be something to do with Butcher, setting him up that he could do it. Okay. That brings us to Giancarlo Esposito. Edgar. I think Edgar lives. I think Edgar lives, a little bit changed by the experience. Not a lot, but a little bit changed by the experience. And I think ultimately he takes Vought back over again. I think the way this universe moves forward with the spinoffs is that he's going to be at the head of Vought again. And again, still a dastardly devil, but I still think, but maybe even a little bit changed. Listen, throughout this show, I mentioned Kimiko, but man, he hasn't been in this show enough. I still think one of my favorite episodes ever of The Boys is when like Homelander goes to his office and thinks he's going to throw his, and Edgar does not give two squirts of piss. It's like, you are nothing to me. Oh no, you're going to kill me. Well, then just shut up and do it, because you are, I remember this line, man. You are just bad product. Oh, Giancarlo Esposito, ladies and gentlemen. So you got to keep him around in the universe. So I think he absolutely stays around. Now that leads us to, I keep forgetting the characters for Ashley.
Yeah.
Ashley. President Ashley. I think there's a place for her in the future spinoffs. I think Ashley lives. And I'll tell you what, I've never been more interested in this character than this year. I've always found her to be sometimes mildly entertaining little an inconsequential side character. But I've actually found that this year I've come to actually kind of appreciate the character more. So I actually think she ends up living, because I do think they have a place for her moving forward. All right, let's talk for a second then about Sister Sage, who, kind of like Ashley, this season has become much more interesting.
Plus, I love the actress.
Oh, she's so good. She's so good in the role. Like everything about her, like from the way she self-lobotomizes and all that kind of stuff. I really like the character. Now, much like Mother's Milk, my mind has changed from yesterday to today. Yesterday, I would have said, oh, she dies. I think Homelander, they're going to give Homelander one or two more key kills, I think, in the finale. And Sister Sage is going to be one of them. But you know what? I've changed my mind. I think this series, one of the last things in the series, they're going to get to the end, and it's going to be a bit of a montage of where everybody is now. And I think in that little montage, we're going to see Sister Sage in her own little, that little getaway fortress she wanted to have, the little cabin in the woods off on her own, total peace and quiet, nobody else around. Whether she deserves that or not, that's a different story. But I have a feeling they're going to give her that at the end. They've set that up way too well about this thing about what she wants to have at her bunker. And I think she's going to get that. So that's where we'll go with that. Am I missing anybody? Oh, who's the new preacher dude? Father, brother, or whatever his name is. Oh, that dude's going to die.
Oh, he's way out of it.
I think Starlink. Starlink, Elon Musk is going to know. I think Starlight is going to take his ass out. I think Starlight completely.
Yeah, he's a bad guy.
Oh, Father is his name. Oh,
yeah.
Father. I think this is what I call the perfect representation of Republican Christianity.
Pretty sure I've seen that in the White House.
Yeah, I think Starlight is absolutely going to take this guy out. So I think he's not long for this world.
And they have history.
Oh yeah, that's part of the drama of that. There's history there, right?
Yeah.
So that brings us to one of the core characters of the show. Sometimes he's been more prominent in the stories. Sometimes he's more background in the stories. But the Deep. The Deep, who now finds himself in a place where he can't even go back in the ocean now, thanks to Samuel L. Jackson. By the way, that scene was great with Samuel L. Jackson. Come on in the water, man. That was so good. I unironically think he lives, actually. And I think that little montage at the end we're talking about, I think he's going to live in misery. I don't think there's any redemption arc for him.
He ate his friend, the octopus. Ever since that moment, I wanted him dead.
Oh yeah, I mean he's gone way over the edge. I mean, obviously right from season 1, he's been a despicable prick.
Yeah,
but there were opportunities along the line where he could have had an A-Train like redemption arc, an enlightenment, a Paul on the road to Damascus. For anybody who knows their Sunday Bible stories. A kind of a Paul on the road to Damascus. They set up moments where he could have had something like that, but they just decided instead to keep taking him further and further down this despicable road. And I think instead of getting wiped out, I actually think he has to live with it now. And I think he's going to live in perpetual misery. But that's my guess there with that. Some people are asking about Maeve. I think we already got Maeve's goodbye. Maeve got her powers burned out by Soldier Boy and left the life and went off to live her happily ever after.
Although we might see her in some montage.
I wouldn't be against that because she's such an important character of the show as a whole until, she left it. By the way, Queen Maeve was a role very nearly got by our own Aaron Cummings. Aaron got close to getting that role. And she would have been an amazing Queen Maeve. But I don't think we're going to visit Maeve again. Soldier Boy, we're not going to visit again. I think Kripke has already confirmed that Soldier Boy's not even in the finale. I think he'll get busted out of the cryo chamber again later on in one of the spinoffs. So I don't think we're going to see Soldier Boy. And that leaves the last one. Ryan. I don't think we see Ryan in most of the episode until that final montage at the end. I don't think Ryan dies. Ryan lives. Again, this has all been about righting the wrong of what was done to Butcher's wife, Ryan's mom. And I think the justice she's going to get in this is that by the end of this, hell, Kimiko may even burn the V out of Ryan. If that's even possible. Ryan's the first naturally born soup. So maybe that's not possible. But I think we're going to see Ryan at the end with at least something that's resembles a normal life. How far they'll go with that, I'm not really sure. Is there any other major characters I'm forgetting about? I think we got just about all of them covered. Yeah. If any of you guys in the live chat have more, go ahead and fire them in. But anyway, and somebody's bringing up Marie. There was a chance going into this final season, if you watch Gen V season 2, that they might have been maybe setting up Marie that she'll be the one to take down Homelander because she's a product of the same process that made Homelander. She's the one soup who may be just as other than Soldier Boy that may be just as powerful as Homelander. But they made it pretty clear that I think her role in this is now done. I think we're going to see her do something. I think they have I think Kripke has plans for Marie and some other of the Gen V characters to be in some of the other spinoffs later on. But I don't think she's going to play a major role in the finale. So that's my guess. We want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Pocket Hose. Guys, I'm excited to tell you about the world's #1 expanding garden hose and their brand new product, the Pocket Hose Ballistic. As you guys can imagine, I'm not exactly gentle with my gear. I drag hoses across concrete over the pool, yank them around corners. I even coil and uncoil them all the time to put them in my camper van when I go out on my movie meetups. And generally speaking, a lot of them don't last. But the Pocket Hose Ballistic has been a totally different story for me. It's incredibly durable, super lightweight, and just makes the whole job easier. One of my favorite things is how simple it is to use. You turn the water on, it expands. Turn it off, it shrinks right back down to pocket size. And it's reinforced with a liquid crystal polymer, the same kind of material used in bulletproof vests. Plus, it comes with the pocket pivot, which gives you 360-degree rotation at the spigot so it moves with you instead of fighting against you. And now, for a limited time, when you purchase a new Pocket Hose Ballistic, you'll get a free 360-degree rotating pocket pivot and a free thumb drive nozzle. Just text Campea to 64,000. That's CAMPEA to 64,000 for your 2 free gifts with purchase. Text Campea to 64,000. Message and data rates may apply. Anyway, Rob, what do you think about my predictions? Are there any that you have some really big differences with? Any that you completely agree with? What do you think?
I think for the most part, you're pretty spot on. You know, I was thinking, have you ever seen the third Omen movie, The Final Conflict?
Yes. I never did.
Okay,
I never did.
So
see
you know
one.
that our favorite paleontologist from Jurassic Park stars as Damien.
Right.
Well, at the end of that movie, you're asking yourself, how are they going to kill Satan? And literally, light shines through. They're in the church, and it's the second coming of Jesus.
Yeah, Michael appears.
Jesus, it comes to, and you're like, okay, and we're going to vanquish. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens at the end of this episode. Like it's
that Jesus himself.
Yeah, that God, because now you've got God. How dare you? How dare you, sir? That would not surprise me. But all things being equal, what if Homelander, but along those lines, through the battle with Butcher, what if Homelander doesn't die? But everything that he is, it's almost as if he's been possessed this whole time, the because he's a victim. Homelander is a victim of Vought. From the very beginning, like, you're bad product. That's right, Vought. You did this. They're the real villains.
Dude, the episodes when they did flashbacks about when Homelander was a child, it's difficult not to feel some degree of empathy for him.
Yeah.
To a point.
Now, he's a horrible human being. But he also represents the ultimate example of what, post-capitalistic thinking or late-stage capitalism is. We're just going to create whatever thing we want to get the maximum profit to run the world. And that's what you get. You get Homelander. But what if at the end, because of that, there's some kind of Vader-esque redemption for him in the sense that he doesn't remember who he is. He's a clean slate. He's turned back. His humanity that he never had is restored to him for the very first time. Or something along those lines. It's easy to kill him. And I understand. It'd be very satisfying. But the boys has never done something necessarily that you might expect. And at the end, the ultimate kick in the pants would be if that somehow, some way, his humanity is restored. Is that, I don't know. I'm just saying, it's a different way to go. Do I really think it's going to happen? No. I think he's going to die.
I just think that here's the problem they would face if they try to do it. They try to do that. Like, say, because we've floated the idea before about what if he gets depowered, like Kimiko's going to do, but then he just has to live the rest of his life. There are too many tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people on the earth who have either been put in concentration camps or had their loved ones murdered or had their own arms blown off by Homelander.
Oh yeah, he's dead.
Or whatever. So he's dead. One way or another, he's dead.
Yeah.
I mean, someone's going to kill him. I mean, so I don't know. It would be interesting to see if something else went along those lines.
I'm just saying that it would be, I would look for a twist. Something. I don't know what it is. I think most of your predictions, though, were pretty spot on. Because I think all the other characters, the Deep's a douche he's a spineless worm, so he deserves to die. I think that Huey does not deserve to die because, remember, at the beginning, he lost his girlfriend.
And he loses his dad.
Everything. Yeah. If anybody deserved a happy ending, Huey and Starlight deserve to live happily ever after, probably with one another or something. And maybe there's the next generation or whatever. Giancarlo Esposito, I would like him to survive because what he represents is same as it ever was. It has happened before and it'll all happen again. He's the guy, he's the eternal one. He will go on. And plus he's smart enough. He deserves to survive. He'll pivot. He'll do something else. But I think your other predictions are pretty good. I think Kimiko has to die because Frenchie died, and although she's also been a horrible victim. From her childhood through the show, everything. Everything's been taken from her brother, her everything. Everything. So it wouldn't surprise me if they give her a happy ending. But also she goes out in a blaze of glory. And then, of course, like you said, Butcher doesn't want to live anymore. But I think there'll be I would like to think he and Ryan deserve some kind of.
But deserve and get are sometimes
two
different things.
I know, but it just seems to me that, again, Butcher is a man who's lost everything as well. And I would like to think, but it's not really the boys. Do people get their just desserts? So I think
it's one consideration we haven't even thrown out there yet. Homelander wins. We haven't even considered that at this point. Now, of course, the likelihood of that is very
the
low.
darkest timeline.
But if they really wanted to subvert expectations, straight up Homelander wins. Maybe slightly weakened. Maybe the V1 gets taken out of him, but he's still Homelander after all that. And then Homelander is still a presence moving forward. Like, I think after 5 seasons, it's time to move on from Homelander. But I mean, is it possible? What would you give the over-under number of, by the end of the Boys finale, straight up Homelander wins?
Well, conventional wisdom would say Homelander's got to die, but this is the Boys. So I'm gonna say 10%. 10% Homelander doesn't die.
Interesting. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to see. I will, of course, give my out of theater reaction tonight coming out of the Boys finale. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Do you have any? You only got about 8.5 hours left to give some hot takes and reactions. What do you think is going to happen? What are your final predictions for the finale of The Boys tonight? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.